Mr. Chairman, we are good to start.
Thank you. All right. I am going to call this meeting of the City of Saginaw Planning and Zoning Commission to order at 6:08 p.m. And I'm going to run through roll call. Vivian Anderson, place 1. Is not present. Benjamin Guttery, place 2. Present. Peter Drolet, place 3. Not present. Melinda Julian, place 4.
Here.
Val Visas, place 5.
Here.
John Hardy, first alternate.
Here.
And Daniela Fernandez, second alternate. Not present. All right, at this time, we are going to ask for audience participation. If there is anyone in the audience who would like to speak on an agenda item and is not listed as a representative for that item, please proceed by filling out an audience participation form to speak on that item. Audience participation forms are located at the front entrance of the chambers. Please turn in your filled form to the planning manager, whom will pass it on to the chairman, and we'll call you out at the appropriate time. All right. Now I'm going to go into business. So it looks like we have a short training presentation.
Mr. Chairman, can y'all see this on your screens just to verify? Okay. I also provided a printout just in case. But for those of you who are new, which just one of y'all today, but we do have 2 other new members. So I just want to welcome you to the Planning and Zoning Commission and welcome you guys back as well. We are very happy to have you all, and your volunteer efforts are definitely what helps the city. So I just wanted to provide some brief training to show our newer members and refresh our current members a little bit about how the Planning and Zoning Commission works and what you can expect. So the purpose of the Planning and Zoning Commission is to guide community growth and development. And the way we do that is to try and align with the city's comprehensive plan. Some of the things that we do is we review land use and zoning requests. So today we do have some of those land use requests that you'll see firsthand through the SUP process. But in general, we'll see rezoning, SUPs, and any planned developments of that nature as well. And in addition to site plans for multifamily. Essentially, what the Planning and Zoning Commission does is we will hear the item, and any visitors that we may have will be able to speak on that item, and then it is your job to make a recommendation to City Council. Once you make a recommendation to City Council, sorry, forgot to switch it. Once you make a recommendation to City Council, then it goes to the following meeting, usually is City Council on the following Tuesday, and then they also hear the item and speakers, and then they make a formal decision based off that. Okay. So next, we're going to be talking about public meetings. So since we are a municipality, we do adhere to the Public Meetings Information Act, and we have the Texas Open Meetings Act was essentially everything is public record. So anything you say right now, you are being recorded just for the record as well. Any documentation that goes before us that you are being shown is also public record, and what public record means is it's just open to anyone that wants to have access to it. They can submit a FOIA, and we have 10 business days to present that information to them and it's just to ensure transparency, essentially. So one of the most important things that you need to know is when we send out emails, it's important that you guys do not reply all, because that would be a violation of the Texas Open Meetings Act. So anytime you're replying, just respond directly to Maria or myself, or both of us, but just not the entire committee, because that would be considered a quorum at that point. And then another thing for the public meetings is our agendas are always posted online and at the City Hall window. And so we have to have that. Currently, it's 72 hours in advance. I think that they're currently working to modify that. But if we, for some reason, do not post that, then we cannot meet. So that's just another thing. And then all actions do require a quorum. So at least 3 out of the 5 members. So we have 5 permanent places, and then we have 2 alternates. So the reason we have 2 alternates is, so example, one of our place settings today is not available, so that's when the alternate steps up and you can vote. So you're a voting member today, and that'll happen for any time that we don't have enough people. And so, again, a majority vote is essentially what allows an item to be passed. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Could I add something?
Yes.
Even if you're not a voting member that day, if you're here, you can participate in talks and everything. You just can't vote if we have a quorum of other members. Okay?
Okay, I do have a question. There's 4 of us, what if there's a tie vote?
We will figure it out. Generally, what we'll do is we'll have the commissioner not vote on the item. But
I even have a question on that. So
Yeah.
we have 5 places, but 3 meets a quorum. So if all 5 aren't here, then the alternates automatically vote, correct?
yes.
Got it, yeah.
I also wanted just to reiterate, she talked a little bit about Open Meetings Act stuff. The more common thing that we see when people are violating the Open Meetings Act is the reply all to the email is very common, but group chats, even if y'all just have a group chat of like, what time's the meeting? Do not have a group chat where y'all are discussing anything to do with land use. People don't even think about it. They make a Slack channel just to check in. Please do not do that. That's a violation. I've never seen prosecutions for in-person quorum issues. It's always text messages that we see criminal prosecutions for.
Okay, and then just a little bit more in regards to how our meetings are conducted, and this could be for a public hearing, but it's also for regular items as well. So typically what happens is the chairman will start the meeting promptly at 6. If we're waiting on a couple of members, we'll do certain due diligence and wait a couple of minutes. But once we begin, the chairman will put us in order, call roll, and then if we have an audience, they will guide the audience on how they can participate with our meeting. Afterwards, we begin the business, and so for that, we have certain items where we're not voting. It may just be a discussion, like this item. It's just, I'm giving a presentation, so we're not voting on that. But majority of our items do have actions. And so what happens with that is the chairman first will open up that item, and then staff will briefly give a presentation in regards to that item to introduce and provide more background on it. And then the applicant will have the opportunity to go before y'all and also plead their case. And that is the time where you would ask ourselves and them any questions that you may have. And then if we do have a public hearing, we can open it up for public commentary as well. And so when we have our public, they'll also be able to ask any questions for y'all or for us. And so it's just an open dialogue at that point. And then afterwards, y'all are able to have a discussion amongst yourselves to deliberate, and then y'all would be able to make that formal recommendation. You do have 3 options for voting. You have vote approval, and you can always add conditions to that approval depending on what the item is, or you can deny. Or you can table it for the upcoming meeting, which means that you're not going to make a formal decision at that point, but you're going to see it at the next meeting. Bessie, did you have anything to add to that? Okay. Okay, so just a little bit of refreshers for conduct. You must remain impartial. That is very vital in this role. And be respectful, of course, just base decisions on evidence and code, not on personal opinions. And that goes back to being impartial. We're basing it off of what we can legally have information on, not our surroundings or any other information outside of that. It has to be directly pertinent to that item. For instances where you do have a potential conflict of interest, you do have to disclose that. So what that would entail is if you are nearby that business or if you have a stake in that business, then you would be able to fill out an affidavit with the city attorney or ourselves, and then you would just step out of the room and not vote on that item. And then we do have a parliamentary procedure where we have the chairman lead and we follow, and then just normal decorum when it comes to that. And then again, just ending on a vote or a tabling of some sort. So key takeaways: we serve the public interest through fair and informed decisions to ensure growth of the community in an orderly fashion, and we have to uphold transparency and accountability. And so that's just a brief synopsis of what the commission stands for and is supposed to regulate. We'll have a further in-depth conversation about the Public Meetings Act and some other refreshers from our city attorney at an upcoming meeting. But just because we do have some absences today, we didn't want to fully go into that. And I'll send this out as well. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. And if not, we can go to the next item.
Does anyone have any questions for now?
No.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, 2B, consideration and action regarding the election of a chairman and or vice chairman. So,
Mr. Chairman,
yeah.
since we are in the month of July, we did get new appointments, and so we do have 3 new members and a shift in a couple of other members' positions. So with that, we will need to vote on a vice chairman and or a chairman. Our previous chairman had also chosen to retire, so that vacancy is open as well. So I've provided a list of our members, and you can open up the floor for any nominations, but I just wanted to kind of elaborate on briefly what the chairman is responsible for doing. So as previously mentioned, the chairman is responsible for leading our meetings, and they will bring us all back, hopefully, to the item and what we're supposed to be discussing. They'll be responsible for allowing the public to be able to provide their public input and facilitate that, and then facilitate just the dialogue amongst the commission. So they're really just the person who holds the meeting accountable and leads our group. So with that, we do hope that the chairman is available to lead our meetings. every time. However, we do understand that sometimes our chairman cannot attend. So we do have a vice chairman who is responsible for stepping up when the chairman is not here as well. So that would be the responsibility of the vice chairman. So with that, I will leave that to you.
All right, so I've obviously been vice chairman for a while, and with our former chairman retiring several months back, I've kind of been leading meetings the last few months. So I would like to put my hat in the ring for chairman. I don't know if I'm allowed to nominate myself or just say that I am interested in it, but yeah.
So the rules, there's not rules set out in your ordinance for how this works. Traditionally, someone would need to nominate you. Would
Okay,
Someone,
yeah.
please nominate Benjamin.
Yeah.
I would definitely nominate Benjamin to be our new chairman.
Second.
I guess I'm third.
Second.
Okay, so.
He needs to make it formal.
Right. We have one nominee. Does anyone else want to nominate anyone to be chair? Okay, so then, do you want me to conduct it, since it's weird if he does it for himself?
You're more than welcome to do so.
Or you can do it. So then we need a vote. So all in favor of Benjamin Guttery being the chair for the Planning and Zoning Commission? 1,
Do we just?
2. Yeah, just raise your hand.
Yeah.
Oh, vote on the screen. I can't see the screen. So.
Yes, so you can vote on your screen. Well,
I think it'll pop up in just a sec.
yeah, she's putting it in there.
Okay.
I do not have this screen.
You tap.
Do I?
We could vote.
I probably put abstain.
You should vote for yourself. You
Oh,
you should be able to vote for yourself.
yeah.
What?
Oh,
City attorney, do I abstain?
We didn't really have a motion for it, just a nomination.
Yeah. Do I abstain from
It would be
this?
better if you abstained from the
Yeah.
vote, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
I voted yes.
All right, well, the motion has passed. Thank everyone, all of my colleagues, for believing in my abilities. So now we also need a vice chairman for times that I am not available or for times that I need to abstain from voting. Is anyone interested in vice chair?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Val Visas, please.
Yeah. If Val's interested, I second that nomination.
I was gonna nominate Mel. So I nominate Melinda Julian, and I'm happy to abstain.
Would you be interested?
Me?
Yeah.
So
I
do
think
you-
first we have to.
We have to finish what we're starting.
Yeah.
Do you accept or deny your
So-
nomination?
So do you deny it, the nomination?
I deny the nomination.
I second that for Melinda Julian as vice chair.
Y'all are gonna have to rock, paper, scissors this.
Is it phone, sunglasses?
So do you accept or deny your nomination?
I accept.
Yeah.
Abstain.
All righty, and so the motion has passed. Melinda Julian will now be our vice chair. Yeah. All righty.
Congratulations to you both.
Yep. Thank you. And then now we
Happy-
have business 2C, consideration and action regarding approval of minutes. And so, oh, I just had this, sorry. Okay, so the minutes for the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on June 2nd, 2025. I'm-
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the minutes be approved.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
All right, all in favor, we're going to vote. Alrighty, and the motion has passed to approve the minutes from our previous meeting on June 10th. Now we are going to go to public hearings. So it looks like the first one is 3A, consideration and action regarding a request for a specific use permit to allow a special event venue at 620 South Saginaw Boulevard. And here we go.
Bessie?
Okay, so, yeah.
Yeah.
So at this time, one of our members is going to remove himself from the room. He has a legal conflict based on his geographic location, so he's going to step out of the room. Has the affidavit been filled out already? No. I emailed it to you, so let's pause for a second so we can get that filled out before we begin the item.
Yep.
Do I have to make a declaration now?
Once we have the affidavit signed, we'll have you make your declaration.
Okay.
I'm going to have you read the affidavit or a portion of it. So we can either jump to the second item if y'all want to do that while we get
Sure.
this printed.
All right, so we're going to jump ahead to item 3B for now. So that is consideration and action regarding a request for a specific use permit to allow a carport at 1004 Greenbrier Court. And I know that I have at least one reply form. So let me just kind of get settled here. I got a couple of things. Okay, so city attorney, I know you're doing a few things at one time. Do I read the public reply form first, or do I read out? Well,
Let me look at the agenda. So,
do I just read out like the background discussion, request applicant address, and then do the reply form?
So what I would do is I would list the item, and then I would read the reply form during the public hearing. So when you open the public hearing, after we've kind of done the initial presentation, then I would read it as if they were here.
Got it. Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, I can introduce the item
Okay, sure.
for the commission. So what we have today is a request for a specific use permit for a carport at 1004 Greenbrier Court. Due to time constraints, we weren't able to attach any of the design details to the packet. However, we printed out those details, and they are before you today. So we also have the contractor here today to answer any specific questions that you may have on the structure and the materials. But before I introduce the item, if you want to go ahead and open up the public hearing and read out the reply form.
So you can do it now if you want.
Okay.
So I would open the
All
public hearing.
right, so I'm going to open this item for a public hearing, and we have a response from,
We're at the time, please.
oh, excuse me, we're going to open this for a public hearing at 6:31 PM.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a reply from Sheila Glass at 1017 Greenbrier Court. They are opposed to the carport. Reasoning given is our street is already looking cheap. With the neighbor's new addition to his house, 100 in metal shed material, and then my neighbor's metal shed in the front facing street rear It looks bad enough. If you add a carport, it will just make the neighborhood look even cheaper and run down. I feel like it affects my home value. It's an eyesore for sure. Disappointed. We have 2 rentals, and you can tell by the yard they are rentals. This court is not what it once was. That is a reply that we're forced to read. Okay, while we're open in public hearing, is anyone here would like to speak about the SUP at 1004 Greenbrier Court? If you would like to speak, the floor is yours.
And we do have the contractor here, Mr.
Sure.
Marcelo Barron, if y'all have specific questions.
Hi. Yep.
So, just requesting the SUP for the carport, so.
Could you step forward to the microphone, please?
If you could if you could just state your name,
Okay, my name's Marcelo.
Marcelo.
Barron, and I'm
Barron.
just, this carport is at 20 feet by 20 feet. Just cedar, regular stained shingles,
Yeah.
just a very basic carport.
Okay. And so it will have shingles to match the
Yeah.
roof. Yep. And I noticed you said cedar, so and it's real cedar and it'll be stained?
Yes, stained, yes.
Okay. Does anyone on the commission have any questions for the contractor while we have him here? You're more than welcome to ask any questions.
No.
I do have one.
Yes, sir.
Looking at your plan here, sheet number A103,
Yes.
you've got a couple notes here where you are beam wrapped with 1 by cedar, stained or painted, see structural.
Yeah.
Is that a structural steel beam
It's
wrapped
a
with?
LVL beam.
It's a what?
LVL, it's a very special beam. It's a structural beam, it's not steel.
Is it wood or steel?
It's wood,
Okay.
yeah. But we wrap it around with cedar, so it looks like cedar outside, yeah.
If the commission doesn't have any questions, I have a couple to work through. So I'm looking at the application that either you or the homeowner submitted for this. So there's a series of questions on here that exist in order to basically allow an SUP to be granted. So there's certain things that have to be proven up by you. One of the questions on here, and I think it may have been worded in a way that maybe confused whoever was filling out this form. It basically asks if the benefits that the city gains from this carport outweighs the negatives that the city's gain from this carport. So do you,
I have no comments. That'll be the homeowner.
so,
Yes.
Yep, just to be clear, so the question is very straightforward, okay? Here on the Planning and Zoning Commission,
Yes.
we have to decide if something is good for the city
Yes.
or bad for the city.
I understand.
So it might have been an oversight on whoever filled out this form, either you as the contractor or the homeowner.
Yeah.
Does the city benefit from the resident having a carport?
I would say yes.
Okay. So would you like to change the answer?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And there was one other item highlighted. It says, please provide further details, and it was stated for personal use. So the homeowner is covering the driveway to maybe like protect their vehicles or like
Yeah, personal use. Yes.
personal use? Okay. So, yeah, okay. Okay. So, all right, so we have changed those items. Okay. All right, does anyone need anything else from the contractor while we have them up here?
No.
No? Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, and then while we have it open for a public hearing, does anyone else here want to speak on 1004 Greenbrier Court? Okay, at this time, I'm going to close the public hearing aspect of this item at 6:37 p.m. And then now I want to open up the item for discussion amongst the board. And that will be at 6:38 p.m. Okay. Let's chat away. I mean, I'm looking at it, and especially this first rendering done, it's shingles, so it's not like metal. The shingles are said to match the roof. It's cedar, with a solid beam. Looks like it has concrete caps on the bottom of it from what I can see and from what I read. Also, the inside of it looks like it's going to be finished out with some sort of like wood beaming, so it's not just the rafters. I feel like we've requested some of these things on carports before to make them more ornamental and match the house in the neighborhood. So it does appear to look nice and well planned, and like it follows the neighborhood. That's kind of what I first see looking at it. Yeah. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pass consideration and action regarding a request for a specific use permit to allow a carport at 1004 Greenbrier Court.
I'm going to second that motion.
Just to be clear, before we call her a vote, no one else had anything to contribute, right? I think you were good, but I think
Yeah,
you were in
yeah.
the right order. I just want to.
No, for sure. Yeah, if anyone does want to say anything, definitely. We were moving along, sorry.
Yeah, I have nothing else. The homeowner is not here, right?
No, the homeowner's not here, but they did, provided a lot of information, yeah.
All right, then we've got a vote in a second.
All right, and the motion has passed. Okay, got it, yep. You're fine. All right, so the motion has passed. Now we are going to go back to item 3A. And now city,
Okay, now, so we do have a member recusing themselves from this. If you want to read, I'm going to come around and look over your shoulder. Because the way this affidavit is written, it has to do more with business conflict, but you correctly wrote in your 1 mile thing.
Yeah.
It's more for the appearance of a.
but hold on, but it's not just Jake.
Oh, you own it. I see. Okay, all right. So then, we're doing a recusal on this item for Val Visas based on an ownership and interest in it and a geographic interest in this. So if you will read just this, you don't have to read the entire thing, but if you just wanted to
This
read
portion.
this part.
This part, right? Okay. All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to read the conflict of interest affidavit. Again, to state my name, Val Visas. I, Val Visas, a local public official, make this affidavit and hereby on oath state the following. I have a substantial interest in a business entity or real property that may receive a specific economic effect that is distinguishable from the effects on the public by an action contemplated by the city of Saginaw. The business entity or real property in which I have substantial interest is Bayrock Banquet and Event Venue, located less than a mile, actually just like a 4-minute walk from the proposed business, and the address is 548 South Saginaw Boulevard. That's it. So I'd like to recuse myself.
Okay, all right, you're recused, thank you. And so, city attorney, would he go sit in the back, in the office?
Yes, so if you want to go sit in an office or in the kitchenette, or
Yeah. I think
Elsewhere,
there's like a
just-
conference room back there. Yeah.
Just
Okay.
anywhere where we can't see you.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, so, all right, so we've had that, and now I would like to open up 3A, consideration and action regarding a request for a SUP to allow a special events venue at 620 South Saginaw Boulevard for public hearing at 6:43 PM. So would anyone in the
Miss-
audience, yes?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce the item briefly.
Oh, yeah.
Before we have the applicant. Just wanted to set the scene. So we're on the south side of Saginaw Boulevard. This is where the strip center, where it has the like, Delicias and the event center that he is a part of, as well as
Sorry, this is actually
I'm sorry,
where
what did I say?
collections is.
yes, I don't know why I said Delicias.
Sorry, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the former Taco Bell and Mattress building.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. So where the collections and some of the church and yes. So I do apologize about that. But location is 620 South Saginaw Boulevard, and they are going to be building a sit-down restaurant, and that is allowed by right. However, they are adding an event space to that restaurant, and they would need a specific use permit for that portion, for that usage. So they are here before us today to request that specific use permit for the special event side. So they plan to have events on the right side of the building. They're going to have a little event hall, which will also be used for that restaurant. So it'll have a double purpose of restaurant space, as well as when it is booked out, it'll be specifically for that special event. This can be anywhere from parties to weddings, just depending, more so like a micro wedding of that sort. But we do have the applicant here before y'all, so I would like to have the applicant go before the podium, and if y'all have any questions, they'll be able to ask you them afterwards. But if you want to just briefly introduce the item, you're more than welcome to do so.
Hello, good evening, committee members. I'm Prashant Sapkota. I am the architecture designer and the site planner for the 620 Saginaw Boulevard. The existing space is a 2,000 square foot building, which was Taco Bell and a mattress firm. The building is no longer in use, and we and my clients are setting up a new cultural experience restaurant. It will be a Nepali and Indian Himalayan themed restaurant serving cuisines to all the neighborhoods. And the newly added event center will be 2,000 square foot. And the event center will be hosting small birthdays, graduation parties, small wedding venues. It has a total seating count of 34, so it's not very big. So yeah, today we're here for the specific use permit approval for the zoning.
So this is the public hearing portion, correct? So we're allowed to.
Yeah, you can talk to them.
So I noticed that on one side of the building, there is, and like was mentioned, this is going to be the event venue side of things. There's a stage and there's a wall with, looks like a double door. So will that area be open for seating for the restaurant during the day and evening, or will that area be closed off only for events?
So what we're thinking of on the patio space would be an overflow seating space. So it would be functional during the restaurant open hours.
Okay, so that's the patio space, which is the area out front that's going to be fronting Saginaw Boulevard. That's dotted with the dotted lines. I'm speaking of the room that says stage
That is
has
correct.
32 seats.
Yes.
Will that be open for customers to sit in and eat at the restaurant for lunch and dinner, or is that only for special events?
So what we're planning for the event center is, of course, the event would be booked events.
Okay.
But in case there is, we need overflow space as required, we'll be using that space for that purpose.
Understood. And with the stage, is it planned to just be used for special events, or are you planning to have regular, like, acts and music and comedians and whatever can happen on a stage, like, throughout the year? Or will that only be used for a micro wedding or quinceañera or something like that?
This event stage that you're seeing would not be a fixed, it would be a movable stage. So only if there is any occasions of any weddings or birthday celebrations or, like you said, like small musical events or some sort of entertainment, we'll be using that. But it would not be fixed, it would be a movable stage.
Understood. Okay. Does the owner have, is Yak and Yeti a chain? Like, are there other locations of Yak and Yeti, or is this the first one? Okay,
The first one.
thank you. Okay. That's the questions I have at this time. If anyone else on the commission would have any more questions, please feel free.
The special events, is that going to be held during normal business hours? And where I'm going with this question is, has there been any consideration for the impact it may have to the existing buildings or existing businesses with regards to parking?
Are you saying the new addition would impede the existing building in some sort of
Not
forms?
the impede the building, but the parking. It's a cause and effect kind of thing.
That is correct. That is correct. So with the total, so for the parking, what we have accounted is the total number of seatings, right? And we have a total number of seatings of 84, and by 2.5 for 2.5, one parking for 2.5 seatings would need approximately 34, which we comply by.
Okay. So you don't anticipate impacting the parking to the other business?
No, sir.
No further questions, Brown?
Okay. And I noticed your time on here is 11 a.m. to midnight. Are you, that's the regular operating hours for the restaurant. So will special events go beyond midnight?
No.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
I do not.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think we have any more questions for you. If anyone else associated with this business wants to speak, now is the public hearing time. So I would suggest if anyone wants to tell us anything more that we should know, you should advise them to come up and speak.
Hello, committee. Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Arjun Casey, and I'll be contractor, and I'll taking over this project. So, while passing by the Saginaw Boulevard with our recent experience in Wataga, we established very modern artistic restaurant, which has brought a lot of traffic in that area. So, based on same design and principle, we are trying to bring our Himalayan food with the fusion of art, sculpture, and kind of new kind of experiences in our town. So we have did all our best to incorporate art, same time not affecting any of the core to the city, and we are trying to be more like an asset to the city than liabilities. So anything from your side, anything we'll apply on this building to make sure we can build this structure as it planned. And that would be my request for the committee.
I notice on this, the building looks completely different than it looks right now. Is anything going to be raised, or is this going to be added onto the building and added onto the facade?
Yes, sir. So for right now, since we had a meeting with the city last time, since being that area in the flooding zone, we'll be raising our foundation 18 inches above from the flat zone. So at least that will comply with the flooding. And then on the side building will be brand new building attached to the existing building, and then we'll be raising a little bit facade to balance the structure, so it doesn't look like we connected two buildings. As far as the material wise, we have chose the best material we could so that building lasts for long. So we are using steel beam and then stone as a front structure. We are trying to make sure our wall is 8 inches thick, then the 6 inch, so those are the things we are trying to incorporate based on our meeting progress.
And in here, this really isn't our department. I'm kind of just wondering. I see this is kind of a conceptual plan. There's a few trees. The landscaping,
Right.
are you involved in the landscaping
Yes, sir.
plan?
Yes, sir.
So will there be any landscaping done that fits in with the Yak and Yeti brand, or?
Yes, sir. So that one we were trying to go on phase 2. Once we get approved on the idea, we'll try to propose you on the landscaping part, and then we are trying to put some small sculpture, like a fox fuel down the street. So that's what we want to incorporate in the future. But that will be on the phase 2 once we apply.
Understood. Does anyone have any questions for the architect contractor while he's up here?
No.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So I believe that is all the public hearing guests that we have. So I'm going to close the public hearing at 6:54. Oh, excuse me. We have one more gentleman that would like to come. Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Yep. And if you could just speak your name into there.
No problem. My name is Larry Rallis. I'm with Ampex Brands. We're building that the KFC Pizza Hut right next door to your restaurant.
Okay.
Okay, they asked me to come down here. I'm responsible for the development part. And when we got the letter, we were a little concerned about, like Mr. Hardy brought up, the parking and what will go on during that process. Because believe me, I know event centers, they do get busy, and everything that goes on, the construction. We have that brand new building over there, and like everybody else, it's looking better. I like to apologize in person about the storage containers out there, but we're clearing that up. Believe me, we're going to have this open up between the 15th and the 30th of August. We'll have this completed, up and done. So, but I want to be good neighbors with you guys, and just understand everything will be new out there. And if we can make sure that the parking is an issue, because with Pizza Hut, we have several drivers. We're limited on our parking out there too. I believe we got a 20-seat restaurant, and we're a little nervous about that. But that was a big concern that we had, was the parking, that any overflow, that if you understand that we can't have it on our parking lot. And if you could look into that, make sure that they see that. But that's what they had me come down and ask about.
Understand.
Okay?
Okay, thank you for your concern. Thank you, sir.
All right.
So now I would like to close the public hearing aspect of this at 6:56 p.m. And then we're going to open up our board consideration aspect of this at 6:56 p.m. also. And if I can kind of start, I was wondering this whole time where existing building was, new building was, until that last image came up. And so if my colleagues can maybe turn into the book where you see the blue, red, and green, where it says new building, there we go. Yeah. So existing building is roughly the red square. It looks like it goes a little bit into the blue square, and that is where former Taco Bell, former mattress store, several businesses have been in there. And if you look, the new building aspect, which is in the blue, is going to be taking over a whole row of parking that was at that business. And then the covered patio will be taking over a little bit of parking and kind of half spaces up front. And the business that just spoke is going to be directly north of that. There's an empty lot to the south, which we can see in another rendering, I believe. So, so many renderings. Yeah, you can see it in rendering number 3 and 4. Like to the left, there's an empty lot, which I vaguely remember the jewelry store expanding to. And then to the right, where it's kind of blurry parking lot, is where there's already an existing business coming in or expanding, the pizza at KFC. So. It's zoned for restaurants. It's not zoned for event venue. This currently, the restaurant and event venue look beautiful. I think it would be a great addition to South Saginaw Boulevard, and I think as long as the business owners can manage having special events with a busy restaurant, and with scheduling said special events, maybe at times where dinner and lunch hours and brunch hours aren't so busy, because you are right on the border of parking, 2.5 to 34. It's right on the number. So that's my kind of 2 cents at this time. I really do want to hear from the rest of my colleagues, because I know this is a special use permit. So,
Well, Mr. Chairman, I agree with everything you just said. Having, many years ago, having been inside this building back there, I will tell you that having that horrible building up front was an eyesore. I'm thrilled to have somebody come in, especially bringing in a new restaurant with new foods that are not locally available. I know there's tons of people who will be happy. The event center isn't so big that we're talking about 200 or 300 people in there. We're talking about maybe at capacity about 100 people, 100 seats. So, and there's plenty of parking on the other side of where that business was torn down and such. So you can always try to control your people by saying, you know, if you've got a big, like a little party bus, they can park over there. Yeah, so I think there's plenty of space. I'm just glad to see somebody come in and do something with that. I think that this looks beautiful. I think the city will benefit from it, the people will benefit from it, and anybody who has not had this cuisine will love it if we can just get them in there. So I have a motion here to, let's pass. Oh, we're not finished yet. See, I'm like excited. Why you want to cut me off? I'm like, yes.
I do want to hear, even if it's a question, I do want to hear from our new board member, not only because he's new, but also because we're at a quorum here. And so I just want
Agreed.
everybody to speak, because either way this goes,
That's why you're the chairman.
Got it. So,
No, I appreciate that. The biggest impact of parking, quite frankly, is the gym next door. I go to a couple of those stores fairly regularly, or I should say, my wife goes to one specific store fairly regularly. As long as that's been addressed, and at the most, you're gonna have maybe 80, 100 people there. And that's probably going to be in the evening hours or on a Saturday or Sunday. So I don't think parking is really going to be an issue. And, I mean, that was my biggest concern.
for sure. Okay. Well, I say now, if Melinda wants to, we can.
Can I say it now?
You can say it now.
I would like to make a motion to approve this. No, I don't have the number on here. You're switching my screens. Whatever happened to paper? 3B. 3B. We'll leave it at that.
Oh,
3B.
no, it's 3A.
3. You just became chairman.
I know, I'm already
Okay.
failing.
3A. I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that 3A be considered to pass, and would love to have these people with us.
I second that motion. And looks like. All right, and the motion has passed for 3A. Okay. And
Oh, I thought you were coming after me.
let's see. Now we're going to go get our colleague before we go to number 4. Alrighty, and then now we are going to have our staff report at 7:03 p.m. Project updates for June 2025.
Yes, sir. So for our project updates, we have 2 projects that have completed. So that is Blazing Hospitality and the Old Decatur turning lanes. Both of those have been sent the acceptance letter. For city projects, we have the Knowles reconstruction, and due to recent rain and the weather, they were delayed a couple days, but paving has begun, or concrete pouring has begun for the roundabout, so that is in 4 phases, so phase 1 has begun. We also have the 2 parks, Opal Joe and Brian Schwingler. So for both of those, the site has been cleared. And for Opal Joe, new sidewalks and the installation of the playground has begun. For Brian Schwingler, the site has also been cleared, and it's being prepped for the new structures. And if y'all have any questions, we can answer that at this point.
Sounds
And
great.
Mr. Chairman, there was one item that was not on here because we just got word of this yesterday and today. And I have an exciting update in regards to FM 156 and Industrial Avenue. So from FM 156 to the 3rd drive on Fuel City, TxDOT will be updating that road and fixing those potholes and all of that. So they are scheduled to begin, I believe it was July 21st, and it will be about 300-ish days of contract. But it is finally, thankfully,
Finally gonna get finished.
on the radar, so I did want to let you all know.
That's exciting. And that's also a reminder to everyone in the room and listening at home that TxDOT and also the United States Department of Transportation runs some of our roads. So FM 156 is Blue Mound Road, and Saginaw, Maine is a U.S. highway. So it's not always the city that's responsible for the potholes. So, yeah.
That is true.
I just wanted to put that out there.
It's not always us.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, does anyone have any questions about any of these red items on the project updates? I pay attention to kind of everything being built around here, so I kind of know most of this, but yeah. I'm happy to see the city library and senior citizen center
it's
coming
beautiful.
along. It is very exciting for the city. And Blazing Hospitality, we're gonna have a Einstein Bagel Brothers, their sign is up, and a Firehouse Subs and a few other places soon, so that's exciting. So, yeah.
It's all exciting, exciting times.
Alrighty, so now we are going to close out the staff report. Thank you, city staff, and we're going to go, do we need executive session today, city attorney? Okay, awesome. We are going to go to adjournment, so I'm going to close out this, well, actually, I'm going to make a motion to close the meeting at 7:07 PM. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye. All right. So our City of Saginaw Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, is closed. Thank you so much.